Welcome back to the Ologies, Episode 8, Conspiracyology. I'm Ross, as always, here with Clint.
Conspiracyology.
I know, right?
Yeah.
This is going to be so much
You know
fun.
who's not here right now? Lil Sweet.
Yeah, Bill Fisher. Bill
Miss
Fisher's
him.
not here. He's at home with the
I
sniffles.
kind of miss him.
Yeah.
Not really, but kind of.
Yeah, we miss him a little bit.
Somewhere between miss him because you have to,
Yeah.
a little bit above that.
I told him whenever I wanted to make him a permanent fixture on the show, I said, hey, man, you sprinkle a little fairy dust on the show every now
Yeah.
and then. I don't want you to sprinkle too much.
Yeah, not too much.
Yeah, but just, chime in, and then chime back out quickly.
Exactly.
But anyway, we hope
He
that
would have been a contributor to this one. This one's kind of fascinating.
Yeah, it is, because there's so many of them.
Oh, buddy.
God, they're everywhere.
And like, if you don't have, like, when I was growing up, you didn't have anything else to do. You watch Kung Fu Theater, right? Like, you just pick it on. Now, the assortment of conspiracy-related shows that you can watch is unending.
It's almost like serial killers, where we did one last week, where like they're just everywhere. Every channel has something about serial killers.
You know what's not on there? About the time a serial killer killed someone using nunchucks. You know why? Because the serial killer's not going to attack someone who's proficient in nunchucks.
Obviously.
It just hadn't happened.
Who would do that?
No, you go up to some dude like, hey, can you help me carry my couch?
And they're like,
he
yeah,
like, all right.
nah, bro, I'm good, man.
I'm good.
Gonna sit
Cool.
this
I
one
can pick
out.
this. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So note to self.
So the major conspiracy theories. I mean, obviously,
Let's rattle them off.
Yeah,
Just rattle them off.
Okay. Obviously, I'm going to start with 9/11. Okay. And now we don't really take a stance on this, but I've seen some documentaries. What are they called? 9/11, the truth.
The truthers. Yeah,
The truthers. Yeah, as if it's definitively true.
The same thing with Pearl Harbor, though.
Pearl Harbor,
had the
yeah.
same thing, right?
Some there say that they had advance notice of that,
Yeah.
and that they chose not to, as this would be, and
It'd be
America's
a catalyst.
the catalyst to launch us into the war, because we were against it, but America was making money.
Yeah.
Before, by not jumping in, by supplying arms, by
Yep.
supplying commodities to.
So we have geopolitical conspiracies, and those are unending, right?
Oh my gosh!
Then we have
The newest
New
one.
World Order,
Yeah,
which I think are different than geopolitical.
Yeah, New World Order.
This is like Illuminati, Bilderberg,
yeah.
Bohemian Grove stuff.
The newest ones is these child predator rings, and I'll tell you what. As much as I'm like, yeah, man, that seems kind of far. I had a friend that was really into that, but like some of this,
Into studying that.
yeah. Oh no, not into it. Like, oh man, I'm
Just wanted to clarify.
Hey man, do you want to get involved in my ring?
Just wanted to
Like,
clarify.
nah, bro, I don't.
My ring's way better than their ring.
Yeah, but
Like,
he was a true believer in that. And honestly,
think
like
there's-
some of the information that I've seen and some of the stats that the FBI has put out, which I kind of put as a benchmark for information, I'm like, I think that, and they're saying that somewhere upwards 100 kids a day.
I think there's no doubt that there's human trafficking, child predator
Yeah,
rings.
yeah.
And that's one of the things I'm really proud that we do up here. We facilitate counter trafficking. We work with organizations all across the United States. We work in law enforcement to export some of the intelligence gathering and action we did in the military into the human predator ring.
I will say that there's a gray line, not a gray line in the classical sense, but in the sense that, like, when they talk about prostitution and being trafficked, when you have these women, or men for that matter, that are being trafficked across, and regardless of age, they're being trafficked across state lines, that is trafficking.
Yeah.
But a lot of those women, when they get out, if someone gives them an out, that a lot of times they run back. So it's kind
fascinating.
of
No, we learned about that. And one of the things we were doing, we were working with a group up here, and some of the experts, it's an amazing group called Deliver Fund. We're really proud to be a part of them and to support them. But it's almost like you know you're going to deal with a Stockholm syndrome.
Right.
They've been handed off so many times that there's a percentage of their reality that just can't believe this is rescue.
Yeah.
So they resist, right?
Yeah.
And so that's an issue that I think speaking out against that and disrupting that.
Yeah,
and
well, that's
taking that
obviously a good thing for us to be doing. With the kids, though, I mean, that's just, I mean, for me, it's just like, no, off with their heads, like anything to do with kids.
you drop the hammer on those guys.
Drop the hammer.
So there's and then the Freemasons, and then we can get really into the interesting world with like aliens.
Aliens, yeah, conspiracy
the
theories
reptilians,
with
the
aliens.
gray
And I
men.
tell you what, along with that trafficking, where all this stuff has come to light, where it's not, I wouldn't say it's not necessarily a conspiracy, but like there's been some truth put behind this. But with the aliens, you talk about those pilots, man, they got them on their cameras where they're like, man, that whatever it is, we'll call it just generally a UFO.
Yeah, what they
is
have is an unidentified
they're flying
object, right.
easterly direction
Counterwind.
against the wind,
Right.
going faster than we could ever imagine, and then they boom drop down to zero,
Yep.
and then boom to the moon. All of a
Yep.
sudden, it's like
Then you have hollow Earth theory.
flat Earth theory.
No, there's hollow Earth conspiracy.
Okay.
Admiral Robert Byrd back in the 40s overflew the Arctic, disappeared into it. Yeah, so there's hollow Earth there. Then there's flat Earth
Yeah, and those
theory.
those people kind of get me because
He's awesome to get
yeah,
him stirred up.
yeah, yeah.
So
I
fun.
mean, we take pictures.
I don't mean to be antagonistic.
No,
but it's
not
just-
at all. That's not our goal here. But I'll tell you what.
No, but
whenever
I
we're
end
in
up being
space-
antagonistic every time.
Yeah, no. It's one. It's
It's
one.
okay to be like to be sporty.
Yeah, but when the U.S. space station, International Space Station, is taking pictures of a perfectly round object,
Regularly.
12 miles.
Regularly.
Yeah, regular. They got live footage. It's a damn video camera. It's a webcam. You know,
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg's probably taking a look at it. You know.
Yeah.
But they're looking at this perfectly round object. You know, spinning,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, in rotation, and it's
Then we
like,
have cryptozoology, which is undiscovered, unnamed species. Of course, which you could throw Sasquatch, Bigfoot.
I
Yeti,
saw a
Yowie,
video
yeah,
the
that.
other day in
Loch Ness
Asia
Monster.
somewhere,
Mhm.
and a guy is filming, definitely blurry, so Bigfoot for sure type footage, and this guy is like, "Oh my God, it's a dragon!" And the profile of this bird or dragon flying through the air would kind of pan a little bit, and you could see its dragon-shaped wings. You could see a very long tail, like Game of Thrones style for
Yeah.
sure. You know.
Do conspiracyologies. So here's what we're gonna do for the next part of this, right? Okay, so we're going to rifle off several conspiracies, and then we're gonna try to pick 3 or 4 that are becoming their own show. So we have conspiracyology. We'll just talk generally about conspiracy, and there will
Okay.
be some that require such attention
Yeah.
and such exploration
Okay.
that, for instance, Sasquatchology.
Okay. Okay. Hold on. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah,
Bigfoot, Sasquatch, same thing.
same thing.
Same thing. Okay, check. Got it. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. For my vote, for Ross's vote, 9/11 for sure, because there's a lot of moving pieces with that, and what spawned from that, the war on terror.
Yeah.
We were both involved in, and
Mhm.
it's like I might want to know a
Yeah,
little bit
reverse
more
engineer
about
that a little bit.
Yeah,
in
let's
some
get
ways.
into that. Okay.
So that'll be its own.
So
for
pick
sure.
yours. What's yours now?
Shoot, man.
If you say Bigfoot, I'm leaving.
Why? Listen, it's an upright bipedal cryptid
He's
hominid.
always blurry.
That's because of infrared projection. That's why.
Forgive Clint, everybody.
I'm telling you, like, there's an absolute explanation.
Okay, so who's yours? Seriously.
No, I'm telling you, like, I
Oh, it's
think
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot, Sasquatchology, like cryptidology, that stuff's fascinating. to
Okay,
me,
so
man.
we can lump Bigfoot in with
Yeah, like a cryptidology. This is Loch Ness Monster. This is
check.
Chupacabra.
Okay, so viewers
My
listening
friend
at
had a
home,
pet
in the
chupacabra.
future, we're going to be talking about specifically 9/11 and cryptozoology. Is that the word?
Heresy. Cryptidology.
Okay, okay.
Cryptidology.
But for right now, let's start with 9/11. This is what I find fascinating about that. Okay, so you've got, how many terrorists was there that day? 12, 14?
19.
19, excuse me. Thank you for that. They get into the United States. No, and back then, from what I learned, is that we weren't tracking like we should. However, there should have been some type of red flag that should have been lifted to at least have an understanding that there was at least one guy, like, wait a minute, this is not right. Then they come, train stateside, right? A lot of them did. And then hop on planes with box cutters, right? We did have TSA back then with box cutters. And they ultimately hit 2 towers, the Pentagon. They were going for the White House. That's the one that Flight 93 over the field. But the real issue is that they hit World Trade Centers 1 and 2, and then World Trade Center 7 caught, just like all the other buildings in the area, caught some of that residual debris that came down. And a lot of those other buildings sustained damage and had a little bit of fire. But Building 7, which was like 2 blocks over, completely collapsed. And the issue is with these conspiracy theorists is what they're saying, that these buildings collapse at what's called free fall speed, right? As in, like, It was a controlled demolition, and those buildings fell directly on top of one of itself, imploded on itself, and that couldn't necessarily been done without the aid of what these, I think they're saying it's some type of thermite, a really fast, high heat explosive that's known
What's
to be able
interesting
to
to
cut
me
steel.
is I'm very good friends with a lot of folks that were there. I mean, they were in the towers, they were rescuing people. One of them decorated for valor for his actions.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to hear their thoughts on just the day, right?
Right.
And then, so yeah, that'll be a fascinating conversation.
The other thing with that is in '93, I believe they drove that truck.
Yeah, Ramzi Youssef.
Yeah, loaded with explosives, and they hit the bottom, and
So there's a book. This is one of the things I think a lot of people were really surprised when they read that. It's like the reading list we had to have as junior officers in the special operations community was every bit as extensive, probably more so than most postgraduates, right? So I read Nassim Taleb's Black Swan when I was a 25-year-old door-kicking, team guy, right? And it was what Black Swan talks about is chaos theory implications in the economic sector, and how Nassim Taleb says typically we're overconfident about our confident projections, right? And so we overweight preparation for something rather than preparation on the whole. So, for instance, you'll spend $1 million to figure out if someone's left-handed or right-handed,
right,
and say, hey, when you hit that door, left-handed people typically go this way. Where we would rather say, like, hey, what are the choices reality imposes on somebody, and let's train for all of those. That's what we do up in the Ready Lab. Like, hey, listen, I don't care if left-handed people go predominantly left when they're scared. What does the room say they got to do? They got to go left, right, down. If they're floating, I'm leaving. I don't know how to shoot. Like he's levitating. We got to back out, right? And we weren't ready for that.
The guy was floating in the room. No clue.
We do not believe we have the appropriate gear for that.
Yeah.
And he had cobras spinning around his head that were flashing gold out of their mouths. Like, we're out. But so a lot of things look clear. What he says with the Black Swan has three qualities. It radically changes everything.
Yeah.
2, in retrospect, everybody thinks you should have been able to see it coming.
Mm-hmm.
And 3, I got to remember the third one. But those are the two biggest ones.
Yeah.
So it was a Black Swan. And we look at and one of the things we look at Black Swans, we always look at Black Swans going, well, we should have known.
Yeah.
Well, you're giving yourself a lot of clarity that you didn't have. Like, I have this bad habit of once I learn something new, I hold myself accountable for doing it wrong, like all the way back into my teen years.
Right, even though you didn't know it.
Yeah, like hyper accountability. You're so stupid.
Well,
Clint.
with these they're called Black Swan events, right?
Sure.
Yeah,
that's a way to describe them.
Yeah, 9/11.
It was a Black Swan.
Black Swan. Yeah, exactly. And it's just so fascinating.
It's a fascinating book if you ever want to read it. I mean,
so my question is this going to be all these conspiracy theories? Books and documentaries and TV shows going to show up if those towers don't fall?
Well, yeah, I think conspiracy shows predated that. Listen, we are maybe 4 miles from one of the greatest conspiracies of all time, JFK assassination.
Wow, now, less than 4 miles.
Yeah, it's right
Dealey
over
Plaza's right here. Hell, he was treated a quarter mile away at Parkland.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's actually new footage of that that came out, and I actually
so JFKology will be a standalone show for sure.
But let's talk about that real quick because the issue is at the time was that Marine Corps they're very much known for their marksmanship. I don't put too much stock into that because I could shoot well at 12. The Army, until I went through sniper school, I used every bit of things that my dad taught me at our ranch shooting, and I could shoot. And if I had the equipment back then at 12 that I did in the military, I could shoot at a grand easily. Yeah. Now, what they're saying is that how could he get off so many shots in so little time? And I think that the overall consensus, at least within the conspiracy community, is that he didn't, and that one of the Secret Service agents running, mind you, behind him was not using good indexing. And indexing is when you have your finger along the trigger well, not on the trigger. But he was running in the heightened states of awareness. He had his finger on that trigger, and he actually fired that shot. And that's why his head moves forward at the end, is because it wasn't that Lee Harvey Oswald struck 3 times. It's that he struck once, missed once, and the Secret Service agent in running shot Kennedy and delivered the lethal.
That's worth its own show. So there will be a JFKology for sure.
Yeah, but we're talking conspiracies, brother.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a good one. That's a good one, though.
That's a really good conspiracy.
Yeah, and you're right. It does hit home. Let's transition to the zoo cryptocurrency one you were talking.
Cryptidology,
I'm never gonna get that.
and it's very important.
Okay, so Loch Ness monster. Do you believe it?
Sure.
Okay. Do you?
Here's what I believe. I believe that it's really hard to say something absolutely doesn't exist. When you and you and I have been in the woods, and
Sure.
when you get in big woods, when you get up in the Northwest, you get up in Canada, you get up in Alaska,
Yeah.
when you start seeing just the magnitude of wilderness
Yeah.
that's still out there, you got a provision for the possibility that there's something out there.
Yeah, that we haven't discovered. It's like the ocean.
The
The ocean is just so undiscovered.
Man, there's
Just-
a team guy, great dude, brilliant business guy. He just started a company called Terra Depth, and they are going to map the bottom of the ocean.
Oh wow.
It's going to be fascinating.
Yeah, there's also videos, and when I got out of the military, I wanted to become, because I'm a rescue diver.
Yeah.
I wanted to become a bell diver, and those guys basically think about putting like when we were kids, putting a cup
Yeah, it's an
upside
atmosphere.
down.
Yeah,
you
atmosphere.
create your own atmosphere, and you kind of negate the atmospheric pressure, so you can actually live
Mm-hmm.
at say 1,000 feet, 2,000 feet below the atmospheric pressure one, which is sea level, and live down there for a month or 3 months at a time, and come out of your bell, literally swim out from your bell, being pressurized, and weld or fix things on the pipeline. So that's what I wanted to do. But there are a bunch of videos that have come out of those
Oh,
guys
buddy.
because there are cameras all over that,
Yeah.
and like the marine wildlife that's down there. But they see some things, big shadows, big creatures that we haven't yet discovered.
Oh,
You
buddy.
know, and the conspiracy theories. and-
Megalodon, man. It's down there.
Oh my God, Megalodon got a lot of play.
I'm
I
telling
do,
you what,
yeah.
man. As a guy who's dove a lot, right, and we dive, in the teams, and bioluminescence. You're sitting there underwater, and you're like going, all right, that's either a great white shark or a sea bass. Like which, because you have no depth perception. You're like, all right, where is it?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you're looking at your knife, and you're looking at your buddy.
Yeah.
Was my Peterson strong? Was he brave? You know? So conspiracyology. This is going to be one of our favorite shows.
Yeah,
We'll
hey-
get some real wackadoodles in here too.
Y'all got to follow on next week. We're going to release the stuff on 9/11 and the zoo cryptology, whatever.
Cryptidology.
Cryptidology. I've got it now. Cryptidology. We're going to
you're
go
being a
into depth
jerk.
about that. This is kind of a teaser in a sense. I've got a small PSA for you people out there. We have experienced tremendous success with
It's been
theologies.
amazing.
I mean, Clint and I, one of our favorite things to do is to come in and look over the numbers, and they've just been through the roof. And we have only y'all to thank for that, and it just gives us more motivation to put out great content. And you know what? We're going to get better with it too. So y'all stick with us. Couple of things. Please remember to subscribe. Go to our website and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. Be on the lookout for our new podcast, The Decisive Point and Pursuing the Lead. We are backlogging those right now to start releasing them in a timely fashion. And please note that we're going to put our Venmo and Cash App in the bio. Guys, it's Corona. I know there's not a lot of disposable income out there. But if you've got some money, just help a couple vets out. We're trying to make a go of this and create things that y'all love.
And help us help other veterans. I mean, we repurpose a significant amount of revenue into sponsoring veterans as they transition into
Absolutely.
our
Absolutely.
little family
That's our main
companies
goal.
here, so.
And thank you again. Thank you so much for supporting. We love y'all.
Yeah, and how about you start getting cryptidology right?
Yeah, whatever. We'll see y'all next time,
Being a
guys.
jerk.